Grab a six pack, sit back and prepare to laugh. It's Drunk Dashers podcast. Grab a six pack, sit back and prepare to laugh. It's Drunk Dashers podcast. Grab a six pack, sit back and prepare to laugh. It's Drunk Dashers podcast. Grab a six pack, sit back and prepare to laugh. It's Drunk Dashers podcast. Sit back and get back and get back and get grab a six pack, sit back and get back and get back and get grab a six pack, sit back and get back and get back and get grab a six pack, sit back and get back and get back and get grab a six pack, sit back and prepare to laugh. It's Drunk Dashers podcast. Grab a six pack, sit back and prepare to laugh. It's Drunk Dashers podcast. Grab a six pack, sit back and prepare to laugh. It's Drunk Dashers podcast.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode 243 of the Drunk Dashers podcast. I'm your host, as always. I'm Tyler, and joining me, we have the man, the myth, the legend himself, Sir Colonel Gables. What's up, buddy?
Yo, man, I am doing fantastic at the moment. I mean, as we're recording, it's Sunday, it's Christmas Eve. I'm feeling kind of festive. At least I'm not listening to the fucking, track Susie Snowflake at work, because let me tell you something, man. When you work at retail and you hear the exact same, 5-10 songs on loop, you absolutely feel like you want to strangle somebody.
It's just the Creed Christmas album over and over again.
Oh, my God. No, man. It's here's the thing. We had a mixture of Christmas music to start off the season, and then customers started complaining because they wanted to hear the old Christmas music. And so it started to transform into a mixture of modern and certain Christmas music to 1950s Christmas music. And I'm like, oh my freaking God. It's oh, here comes Susie Snowflake. And every time Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer came on, I basically I was just trying to create up some alternatives or something like that. Where it's Rudolph the red-nosed asshole. It's then one foggy Christmas Eve, Santa came to say, it's Rudolph with your ass so big, why don't you guide my ass tonight? Stuff like that. Then also it was one of the funniest things that I came up with while trying to talk to my coworker and stuff like that. It's the scene from Family Guy where Peter's drunk and it's yeah, but it's 12 maids of milk, 11 maids of milk, and it's it's 5 maids of milk. Every time that song would come up and it was 5 something, I would just almost sit around 5 maids of milk. Oh man. But yeah, it's other than that though, it's been interesting. NFL stuff, this and that and stuff, but I'm doing all right. How about you, Tyler?
No, I'm doing all right though, man. It's like I said, it's Christmas Eve. My plan at work is closed for the week, so I got a nice little 10-day vacation.
There you go.
Yeah. So that's been nice. We had some family over Saturday night. That's why we're recording on Sunday. And then I had some family over again this afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
And then my family and I, my parents and my sister and I, we did our Christmas gift opening on Saturday night instead of, we lately, since we're all older now, we usually just do it on Christmas Eve. But this year we actually did it on the 23rd.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been, other than that, pretty cool. I got some cool gifts. I guess I can run through them a little bit. Kind of keep it somewhat gaming related. I got my cousin gave me a $25 PSN card.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go. I haven't gone through them yet, but I'm gonna look at there's a big flash sale going on right now, so I was gonna check some stuff out there.
Dude, there are some great games in the flash sale right now for PS4, and quite frankly, there's gonna be even more coming through this Thursday. I've heard.
Oh, okay. So I might just hold on to it then. If there's nothing pulling at me. My sister gave me a $25 GameStop gift card.
There you go.
My family knows her really well. And then my sister also gave me Friday the 13th, the game for PS4.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, so I haven't played it yet. But yeah, I'm excited to play that one. I got all set and ready to go. And
we got a campaign, the things with the talking ship, to try to get people together to play that game.
Yeah, I know, fuckers.
Make that the new Brink.
Please, I want to play that game with people. That game looks awesome. And what else? I think I got something else that was gaming related. I don't remember now. I did also get a pretty cool though. I got a camera for my computer, so now Gables has the how do I want to phrase this? I don't know. Well, I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but now you can look at me while I record. So that's a thing. I'll let him decide if that's a good or a bad thing. So yeah, we were actually supposed to record on Friday night initially, because thought I was going to work Saturday, so we planned for Sunday, and then I'm like, hey, I don't have to work Saturday. You want to record Friday? And then I was telling Gables for the show. Not for sure what caused it. I think it's a combination of a couple things, but I started playing some VR, PSVR, and I was feeling a little queasy going in. I think I had some bad Chinese, but like not like too terribly bad. But I'm like, oh, I want to check out Accounting Plus because I pre-ordered it and it came out I think Tuesday, and then I'm like, all right, I played that for a little bit and I felt fine. I played for like an hour, and I didn't really feel any worse than I did before going into it. And then I started playing Farpoint, which is that VR game, and it's like Sony's first-person shooter VR game. And about 5 minutes into the opening cutscene, I just like everything was like I started feeling like I was gonna puke at any moment. So I'm like, I'm gonna be okay. I'm gonna be okay. And I kept playing. I got like probably played it for like 20 minutes, and I was just like, I gotta go. So I like ripped the PSVR headset off, sat on the ground, went to the bathroom, I got sick. So yeah, so we didn't end up recording on Friday night, obviously, but yeah, that's pretty much what's going on with me. Christmas is tomorrow, but it's pretty much all the stuff's that way. So it's kind of nice because been a busy weekend, so it gives my family kind of Christmas days and kind of be a lazy day for everybody here.
Oh yeah,
yeah. What about you, Gables? You guys do anything for Christmas yet, or are you guys planning on doing stuff?
Honestly, we're just probably gonna get spend a little bit of time at home. Probably visit one of my brothers and stuff like that. We visited my other brother and stuff, and his girlfriend and the kids and stuff like that today. Brought him a whole bunch of gifts because my mom always likes to overdo it for her granddaughter and stuff. So it's like, okay, it's just some things that she does in terms of like organization stuff. It has me like sometimes going up a wall because I have to go underneath my tree and literally get every single gift. And I kid you not, she had like about freaking 40 or 50 freaking little gifts or something like that for everybody. It was stuffed underneath the tree, right? And I go through and I spent the past like 30 minutes, I think, going underneath that tree, getting every little bits of decoration, like every little bits of like gifts for her, and like loading it into the vehicle in the back in order to take it to his house. And it's like, oh my god. It's like she's not organized hardly at all. That's just my mom for you and stuff. She's great in terms of things, but like when it comes to having things planned out in order that things get organized and things, she definitely needs some work on that.
Yeah.
But other than that, though, yeah, we're just gonna do a little bit of family visiting and then just like relax the day in.
Well, that's cool. It's a good way to spend Christmas, I think. Hang out with the family. A little laziness. That's always nice. A little lazy day, But yeah, that's cool. But I guess we're jumping into kind of the reason we're here for, and that's talk about some video games. Gables, you know what? Fuck it. We're gonna do some news first. There's not really a lot going on.
Okay.
It's kind of a slow news week. It's been kind of slow lately. It's the end of the year. I think pretty much everybody's on break now, so it's kind of a slow news cycle anymore. But a few things run through here. Then we kind of had a topic that Gables brought up, and I think is an interesting one. But this first one, was more for me, and I was super excited about. I hysterically started laughing when I heard it. I don't know why, but I think at that point I didn't know what else to do. But Catherine, it was a game from I want to say like 2009 or 10. It was a 360 and PS3 game. I think it's on Steam as well. It is being re-released or remade for the PS4 and Vita. It's called Catherine Full Body. No release time. I think it's supposed to be. I think they said 2018, but no window other than that. It's gonna have a new character called Ren, a third Catherine. So now we got Catherine with a K, Catherine with a C, and now we have Ren. And then I think there's gonna be some different endings because I think there's like the original game had like 8 different endings. And it's gonna have cross save. I'm not sure about cross buy, but Gables, did you play Catherine at all before?
I never really had a chance to go forth and play Catherine when its original release came out. It was one of the games that I had in my peripheral vision when I did play a lot of games in the PS3, but because of the whole Burnout stuff, I didn't really have a chance to go around to it. But I am excited to have a chance to play it when it does come out on PS4 eventually. But it's just one of those games and stuff like that where it's by Atlas. There is some good puzzle elements I'm interested in trying out in that game. Plus, it has a interesting premise. I do like the idea of taking the control of like Vincent, who basically the first part of the story is like he cheats on his girlfriend. Then it's like you have more options, more things to do. It's kind of interesting because they add different types of features in this version compared to the original release.
Yeah, they added some online battles because I guess this has been going on for the last few years now. It's kind of the scene's been growing, but there's actually like a competitive Catherine scene, which is like
that's weird.
Yeah, I guess a lot during like what is it? What's the big like
Evo?
Evo, yeah. I kept wanting to say Expo, but yeah, Evo has a pretty not I shouldn't say huge, but there's a good following of people that are into competitive Catherine. So now they're gonna have online. There's gonna be an online mode because there was a 2-player mode you can do in the original game, but it was all couch co-op, and it's just like because in the original game like you were trying to get to the without like the platform below. Like you're trying to climb. You're moving blocks to climb up this platform, and like below you it was falling apart, so you had to move at a decent pace. And so they did like get to the top. Whoever got to the top and ring the bell first. You know, you had to get there for the main story. You had to get up there and ring the bell before you died. And then like the 2-player co-op stuff, you actually like were competed on the same platform, and you can like actually like screw the other person over and things like that. So that was actually an online mode. Like I said, different endings, things like that. So it's not just a remake, but I'm not 100% remake, but yeah, I'm excited to go back into that game. I actually started playing it again on 360 earlier this year, when there wasn't really a lot going on. So, yeah, it's a super weird game. It's like a puzzle platformer / dating sim. I guess is probably the best way to describe this game. You can make choices. It's like it takes place over like 8 nights, and it's like him and his buddies going to a bar, and then just things get crazier and crazier every night, and yeah, it's like I said, he's engaged to Catherine with a C, and then he meets Catherine with a K, and then he meets Catherine with a C, and like the chaos ensues. It's a really, I'm not an anime person at all, and then I don't know, puzzle platform is not really 100% my thing, but something about the game, like the combination of all that stuff together and the wackiness of it was incredibly cool, I think. So I'm happy that it's getting brought back, and I think it wasn't like a blowaway success like Persona is for Atlas. I don't think really anything is for Atlas. But I think it still sold over 2 million copies when it initial release. So I hope it, this is a good sign. Maybe we'll get another one after this if it does well. But moving on to a couple other topics. ARMS. We haven't really talked about ARMS, but the Nintendo Switch game ARMS came back in June. Got a new update. It's update 5.0. Nintendo has actually come out and said this will be the last big update other than like some balancing tweaks and stuff like that here and there. But they released a new character, Dr. Coyle. Is their 4th and final character. I think there's also a new stage. I think every character gets their own stage. So they've released 4 DLC characters, all of its free updates. And they officially said they are done with ARMS. So I guess we both played a decent amount of ARMS back in the day, back 6 months ago. But I mean, how do you feel now that ARMS is, I guess, essentially over with as far as like what the thing is going to grow into? What are your overall thoughts with ARMS now?
My overall thoughts with ARMS is I believe it's a good first game. It's a good premise of the fighting game and stuff. I do applaud Nintendo by going the route of releasing free characters and free content updates. And this last major one, so I'm kind of surprised that they're ending it like now, towards the end of 2017. I thought they would be supporting it into 2018, but I think I think with like all the various characters and all the updates and the balance tweaks and stuff like that, I think they're going to quintessentially, maybe not like next year, but like another, like maybe 2 years from now, release the sequel to ARMS.
Yeah.
Because there is a good foundation to the fighting game ARMS. There's a good amount of characters. There's a good amount of like stuff you can go through. There are some complex things. However, there are some improvements that can be done to the overall core experience of the game in and of itself. Whether it be like the different types of like arms you get to use per matchups or something, or the different types of stages or whatever. I felt originally playing it that it could have been like maybe fleshed out a little bit more, especially with like the single player aspect. There was just something that I felt needed to be added on, other than like say the online mode and like the single player mode for each character, because it's like, other than like going through the single player arcade mode quintessentially with every character and stuff, there wasn't really much left unless you want to try to unlock all the other different arms, unless you want to try to do like the online gameplay with it, like picking random certain stages or random things you could do with people. So I definitely feel overall with ARMS it was a good positive experience. At the same time, I feel like that it was kind of average in terms of the overall game quality in of itself. There are some great moments. There are definitely some good gameplay here as a basis and stuff. I just feel that if they go out with a second game, like maybe a couple of years from now, add on to the core gameplay, add in some more modes where people want to go through and play this game, maybe not have the online mode as like, say, randomized like they do with Splatoon 2, because quite simply, people don't like it in like Splatoon 2 as well, where you can't even pick the stages that you want to go to, pretty much. So it's like, okay, it's a good game, but at the same point, I probably will eventually go through and play a little bit more because of the new characters that have released, since they do kind of interest me, especially the final character that they unveiled. But other than that, I think it's been successful. It just needs more work, in my opinion.
Yeah, I pretty much agree with you. I mean, the best kind of thing I could compare it to, and it's a much different game, but it feels like, really, it's like almost like a Destiny, kind of like Destiny 1, where it's like the core, like the gameplay was there, like the core concept was there, but like the content was a big problem. That was a big concern I had going into the game, and other than I was concerned about how fun this game was actually going to be, and then we did the what was that, the test punch?
Yes.
And I fucking fell in love with that game.
Yes.
I think I played more of the game during the test punch than I did after the game came out. Like go ahead.
Yeah. Like I was just saying, I was sort of the opposite, where I did, like you said, it's like I enjoyed the test punch as immediately as that. But I also went through, played the main game and stuff like that. I played through, at the time, every character, but I pretty much dumbed down the difficulty for a lot of it, except for like Springman and stuff, because sometimes the game could be a little bit of not like just a little bit of a challenge. It sometimes can be a little bit like unfair in terms of the AI, especially at the final battle. The final battle, against like that freaking skull
Max
kind
Brass?
of creature.
Oh,
yeah,
the
Max
skull
Brass,
guy.
and then the skull guy that attaches on the Max Brass and stuff with the 6 arms and stuff. That was bullshit.
Yeah,
that is a cookie cutter example of a fighting game end boss at the end of an arcade mode, where you had to literally put in quarters in order to defeat said enemy, because he would be kicking your ass over and over again, taking out so much of your health, like maybe a quarter of your health, or maybe like over half of your health with just like a single sequence of stuff. But yeah, that was really frustrating at that point. But anyway, go ahead.
No, I agree. I forgot all about him. He was incredibly tough. Unless you played him online, when it was like 3 versus 1. It was still pretty tough, but it was a little easier. I think it needs more than just a Grand Prix, or it needs more than target practice. And as fun as volleyball and the basketball game were, it needs more. I don't know what that more would be. With Destiny 2 or Destiny, it was like, you need better side quests. You need the worlds need to be more. There's need to be more things to do in it. It needs to be bigger areas, and those are simple things that not really simple, but those are things that us as gamers we can point to and say, hey, this is what we want. With ARMS, me personally, I don't know. Maybe there's people out there a lot smarter people out there that can say exactly what it is that we want. But with that kind of game, I really don't know what it could be. Whether it's a story mode or I don't think adding more characters fixes the problem. Which is, I mean, it helps.
I could say a couple of things that I would personally want to see, other than like say a remodeling thing for some of the online portions. Make the characters a little bit more complex in terms of like the moves that they execute, because each fighter almost feels the same besides certain like attributes or traits and stuff like that. Maybe they move a little bit slower, maybe they do something like that, maybe they have different arms they can equip, but maybe have them have certain combo moves that they could learn, or like possibly like have certain tutorial level stuff for like acquiring like certain combos, try to be a little bit more in depth for like a competitive thing where you could teach the player, okay, here's some advanced tricks that you can learn while doing arms and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Kind of similar to what you would get in major fighting games, say like a Street Fighter or a Tekken or whatever the heck. Just more modes that would be accustomed to like say the particular things of mini games. I would like to see that, like get to play different types of mini games without having to go online. I mean,
Yeah, no, that would. I mean, I can see that. That definitely would help. Give them each their own, a little more of their own style than they have, a little more uniqueness.
That's just the thing. Keep rewarding the player by going through and just having them play the game. Quintessentially, that's what I want.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think there needs to be more reason to keep coming back to the game. And that was my problem. Was like I said earlier, like I think there was like 9 or 10 different test punches, and I think I played almost every single one of them. And for the entire hour, I probably played 7 or 8 hours of Test Punch. And then the game came out, and I think I played maybe about 6 or 7 hours, maybe about the same amount of time. Yeah. But once the game came out, like I beat the Grand Prix on, I think I beat it on the first 6 or 7 levels. And I played a bunch of online the first couple weeks, and I was doing really well. And then it's like I left for a little bit, came back a couple weeks later, and everybody else got way better than me. It was very much a Splatoon situation. Where it's like when Splatoon first came out, it's like I'm doing really good. I'm actually like top of leaderboards and everything. Like every game, I'm like 1 or 2, and then I left for like a month and came back, and I was like dead last by a lot every single game, and we were losing a lot. And I went from winning a lot to never winning. Which is that's the case in pretty much every game. But yeah, I think the problem is just finding reasons to get us to come back more often than. I mean, a new character popping up here and there. But, I mean, like I said, it doesn't hurt. It helps. And I wish I had a better reason as to what would make me come back, but I don't really know what that is. Like, they find me a reason to keep coming back. Because I like the game a lot, and I just ran out of things to do in it after a while. It's like I did the online where it's just 1v1, and you can level up your character, and if you lose, I got all the way to level 3, and then I got to level 3, and then everybody was kicking my ass, so I fell to level 2, and I just could never get back up there. I don't know. I mean, it was a cool game. It's definitely if there is a second one, which I imagine it will, because I think this one sold about 2 million copies. I don't know. I imagine there will be one. I just hope that they just kind of like take keep the gameplay is there. Just got to give us more stuff to do after more than just Grand Prix. Moving on to our I think our last real news story. But loot boxes have been a big conversation in 2017, and Apple with iOS has actually done something I think pretty incredible really here. The other countries have been doing it. A lot of countries in Asia require it, and I think a few other countries do too. But iOS now, if you release a game on there that has loot boxes of any sort, you now have to show the odds of the content you're getting. So if you like, oh, there's this really rare item, but it's only a 1 in a million chance. Now people can see that. Now you can't just make things super impossible to make people keep giving you money. Like now they have to show you the odds. Show you the odds of, oh, this is a 1 in 200 chance, or there's a, I don't know how they're doing it, whether it's percentage or 1 in 200 or whatever. But yeah, I mean, it's been like I said, we've been talking about a lot, especially here lately with like Star Wars Battlefront and Call of Duty and Need for Speed Payback, like pretty much Shadow of War. A lot of big games come out this year that had a lot of controversy around loot boxes, and I think this is a first real good step for how we're gonna, like I said before, loot boxes aren't going anywhere. They're gonna stick around for, probably for the foreseeable future. But I think this is kind of a pretty good step and a cool step that Apple, of all people, is doing. So, what about you, Gables?
I believe it's a good first step, but I want to see it implemented by more companies inside the gaming industry. Sony, Microsoft, Nintendo. There's got to be a line to where we know for a fact what type of odds that we get if we go through, if we have loot boxes, which quintessentially they're not going away anytime soon, like you were just saying. At least give us the odds of what we could get inside there.
Yeah.
That would be different than what we personally would have. Like, say, show the percentage of a specific item that a person wants, right? Show how much of a percentage that it would be in reality in order to get it. Don't lie about the number. Just go forth and just put it out there. Even though some companies, as quite recently as, say, Bungie, go through and maybe like say that you're earning so much or something like that, and then all of a sudden you're actually earning lower than initially thought, in order to spur more funds. But yeah, that's what I think.
Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, I mean, I think the best thing about this is, like, there are certain items that are damn near impossible to get. It's like now we can either see it, or they're like, well, or the companies will be like, well, we gotta make this a little more realistic. Like, we can't have something that's 1 in 2 million chance of getting, so we have to we have to increase the odds of this. So I feel like, this is gonna be a win-win. Either we're gonna find out how bullshit some of these loot box items are, and also make them a little more reasonable, a little easier possibly to get. It's not, like I said, it's a first step. It's a band-aid over I guess maybe a bullet hole.
Yeah.
As far as the whole loot box thing goes, it's Pandora's box has been opened, and I guess this is their way of trying to close it somewhat or solve the issue the best they can. So yeah, I don't know. I'm happy about it, and I hope Sony and Microsoft and Nintendo. I don't think Nintendo has any loot boxes yet, but it's coming probably. If they don't,
they have
already.
Rocket League on the storefront, so yeah, Rocket League does inspire some sort of like loot boxes inside their thing
it's true. They do have
for their little earning things. I mean, you have these little crates that you can just buy keys to in order to unlock them.
That's true. I guess they do have NBA 2K. So yeah,
yes,
he definitely has it now.
Yes, that's a good one too. That's the microtransactions too.
Yeah,
And WWE 2K18 does do that as well.
True. So yeah, I mean, I think that's gonna be the big one. Really, actually, probably Steam is the big one, the biggest one. As far as if they start doing it, I think that's when the rest of the companies will get in line with it. So yeah, this is something I make as a norm. It's like just like loot boxes, something I get used to being around and accept that they're going to be here. But there's also, we got to fight and tell them what we think is fair, and we've done, I think, publicly. A lot of people have been doing that. So this is a good way. I think Apple's kind of hearing the outcry of it, and maybe they saw the effects financially for it, and this is a way of trying to make it's a good PR move. I think it works out for everybody, or it makes Apple look better and makes things a little better for gamers. But moving on to another topic. This is something Gables brought to for the show. But he was talking about the Nintendo eShop with the Switch. And it's something we've kind of touched on here and there lately over the last couple of months. But basically, are great games being buried by all the games coming out? Are there too many? Basically, are there so many games coming out nowadays on the Switch? Talking about the Switch, that the good ones are going to get buried. This week I think there was 22 games released on the Switch.
Yes,
it was like a couple day span. So, I mean, Gables is kind of your question. If you want to expand upon it.
All right, to expand upon what I'm saying, in every storefront on the video game forefronts, we got services like Steam, Xbox Live Arcade, and we have the PlayStation Store. Each of those services seem to have a glute of games and stuff like that, which, you know what the good games are, obviously, if they're broadcast or like they're commercialized and stuff, but sometimes there are a bunch of games that we are not even aware of that are decent, that are actually good to play, that are buried underneath the shit. And the biggest culprit, honestly, would be for Steam. Because, you know how Steam Greenlight was a thing at the start of the year. It's no longer around and replaced with some sort of numerical thing, which is technically even worse from what I've been hearing about it. But the thing that Steam Greenlight would do, is there would be developers which they would create purposely bad games, sometimes like so many bad games at a time, and they tried to flood the marketplace. And the key purpose was to get people to buy their game in general in order to like raise their profits and stuff. And purposely they would release like maybe 10, 15 games on the shop, on like Steam's like storefront right there. And every week that you would find, like, if there was like a new release, there would be like maybe the same developers, they would be like the same types of like content release stuff, or it'd be like, okay, there's like 50 games released this week, or oh hey, there's like 100 games released this week, for like the for the Steam storefront. And as a result, good games that were sometimes like critically acclaimed, sometimes like maybe like fan favorites or critical darlings or something like that, would be buried underneath the amount of shit that would accumulate from Steam Greenlight and a bunch of the other crappy games and stuff like that that would quintessentially be like shovelware on any other type of like gaming forefront. PS4 is sort of getting the same way in terms of like quality games. I mean, hell, we got one of the worst games that came out like on the PS4 storefront with the Eye of Black Tiger, or whatever the hell that thing is. Yeah. That should never have been approved onto that storefront because it's a glitchy mess. It looks awful. It looks like basically like an alpha sort of like PS3 game that was just mixed and just spewed out just randomly on the storefront. We had other games that released on that system in general where it's like, like I Am Mayo or something like that. Basically games that their purpose are.
That was like a 45-minute platinum. Don't mock that game.
But like I was saying though, it's like, quintessentially getting games that would be not even like complete, like within a span of an hour or something like that, and then you just go through and just be finished with it, get all the trophies, get all that other shit, and then just like move on from it. Now, with the Nintendo Switch, since its release in March, we had, a few game releases here and there and stuff over the past, like, first few months. Now, since September, we have been seeing an increase in release of, like, the eShop games. Like Tyler mentioned, this past week, the week before Christmas, we had gotten 22 different eShop games released between the 18th of December all the way up to around now, the 24th. And there are some good name games, but there are a bunch of games that either have been on Steam at one point or on other types of services that I've gone through. So the question that I initially was pitching, it's like, with the good games being buried and stuff, like, say, for all the games that have been released on the eShop for the Nintendo Switch, currently there's like about 324. I kind of feel, with this question in general and stuff like that, I feel that a lot of the indie content is starting to like just pick up on the Switch itself, but I do feel like that there are a bunch of games that are good that are being just buried because of all the bum rush that Nintendo's been doing as of late over the past couple months. October, it was like maybe 30 new games in the span of that month. That was digital only, like digital on that storefront.
Yeah.
November, it started to pick up a little bit of steam and stuff like that. December, they're just finishing off the rest of the stuff that they had in Contact and stuff. So, I know there's like maybe 4 confirmed releases before the end of this year, but as we're looking at it, we're possibly looking like at an eShop storefront that in its first year has released close to about 340 games. Now, the reason why I kind of feel that the eShop is starting to turn into that sort of breeding ground for a whole bunch of like the shit that's starting to like pile up is because I have been doing a bunch of research in types of games that I personally would want to play, or I personally want to avoid at all costs. Quintessentially, I have been doing little bits of research now for the past month in order to try to find those gem of games, and I've been finding it quite difficult because they're releasing so fast that there's certain players, even on YouTube, that are like dedicated to like maybe Nintendo Switch stuff or this and that. They cannot hardly keep up with all the releases. No retail outlet, like professional retail outlet, can keep up if one service is releasing like, say, 20 or 30 games a week. I mean, it's impossible, especially if you don't know what is going to be coming out that week before advance notice. So, we're starting to also see little key things that are like, that would be reminiscent to, like, say, on the mobile space, you know, or even on, like, some of the Steam Greenlight shit. Like, you have certain games that barely don't even like need to be on that shop in general. Like, for example, there's a game that supposedly is one of the worst games that's released this year, Vroom in the Night.
Yeah.
That game has gotten such horrible reviews and such things for like YouTube reviewers and stuff. And quintessentially, you're controlling a witch. There's same dialogues that's being repeated, and it basically is you flying through rings inside of various stages, a la Superman 64. And it's every bit as boring and every bit as like repetitive as what I'm describing it as. It's quintessentially a terrible game. You have another game that was sort of like a budget sort of thing that's called Troll and I, which that's another game that would not even have... You know, it was released on other systems, yes. On the Switch, it's definitely one of those games and stuff that kind of adds on to the list of some like a burying like good games that are like, say, you know, that you probably wouldn't even think twice about. Say like a game like Kamiko or like Night Terrors or something like that. Because you know how much of the games are coming out and how much of the good stuff that, you know, it's like it's kind of hard for me to kind of describe certain aspects of it because I don't even know what, even after doing some bits of research now for like the past couple weeks, it's like now I can't even hardly keep up with like the past couple weeks of releases because I cannot find reviews. I gotta go through and search through things in general. It's like I feel I am overwhelmed with the game content releases on the Nintendo's Switch's eShop. I never thought I would have that problem because the content releases prior to that, say on the Wii, on the Wii U, and on the 3DS, have been manageable to where it's like maybe 2 or 3 games a week.
Yeah.
Hell, the Wii's Virtual Console made it like a thing where you would probably get like a classic game, like maybe 1 or 2 games like every Monday, you know, at 9 a.m. and stuff. I remember those dates exactly because I used to wait for them and guess for them, you know. But for the Switch's eShop that comes every Thursday, it's like, okay, here's another set of 15 game releases. Let's release them on here. And it's like, okay, I'm going through. Oh, this looks okay. Oh, this looks like garbage. I'm not going to try that. Oh, yeah, this is another mobile game that's going to not be so entertaining. It's definitely hard for somebody, even if they are experienced as a gamer or something, to actually pick out or find some of the good games on the system. Now, if you're a new player or somebody that hardly plays video games looking in and you have a Switch, you go onto that cyber storefront and stuff, it's like you see some recognizable names, but you don't know which games are good. There's no rating system on the Nintendo Switch eShop. There's nothing that's really going to point it unless you do research. So it's like, Tyler, my question to you is like, do you feel like that good games are being like buried on the eShop?
Short answer, yeah. I think definitely. I think it's a problem. I mean, you talked about already with the Switch or the Steam. It's a problem across pretty much everything. But
Yeah.
I mean, just if you focus just on the Switch, yeah. I mean, remember we talked about a couple weeks ago when Street Fighter, Street Fighter Ultra or whatever it was got released.
Street Fighter 2 Ultra?
Yeah, and it got released and it was like $40 and it was
Yep.
it was bullshit. And it was like that was released in May and it was just like, well, it sold over 500,000. It's probably close to 1,000,000 sales now, but it's like that's because there was no games to play on it. There was you got, like you said, it was almost kind of like early days of the Wii, where there was a couple games trickled out every week, and those games got a lot of fanfare behind them. And for the most part, they seemed like they were pretty good games or well received. People were just hungry for stuff to play on it. And I talked about how that people won't be able to pull that stuff anymore. Like, and there's a positive with more games coming out for it. Like, yeah, it's great, but you can't just be overpriced and you can't just charge whatever you want.
Yeah,
because this is people will buy it, and that's still the problem. A little bit of a problem now because you look at some of the prices and some of the games on there, on the Switch, on the eShop.
You bring up a good point. You bring up a very good point because Nintendo's having their Christmas sale on the Switch. There are games that have been out on other platforms for quite a while now. Some even more like a year or possibly even a couple of years, and they're charging new prices. They're not even going through and doing like the deep discounts like on the other services. For example, if you go forth and you want to buy the game, like say, I don't know, The Bridge on the Nintendo Switch's eShop, that game sells for $10 on the Switch. It's currently 50% off, $5. You go onto the PlayStation storefront, that game is like $1.49 or something like that on it because it's been out for over a year, and that game has been out since like I think it was like the 360 days or something like that.
It's like from like 2009. So yeah, I mean and it's something we mentioned before. It's the Switch tax, Rhyme is a game I liked a lot, and it was $20 if you on PS4 and Xbox One and PC, but it's $30 on the Switch, and it's supposed to be a pretty badly made port. Great game, but it's not good on the Switch. I think it's a key, really big problem now. Is you look at like every game on there is like pretty expensive, and you look like there's like games that are a couple bucks that are a couple of dollar games on iOS. They're charging $10-15 for, or it's just really just generic shitty mobile games, or like old ports of games from years and years ago that and I'm knocking it, but I bought Frederick Resurrection of Music this week for $6. It was an iOS and it was a Steam game, and it's like $2 game on iOS. I bought it for 99 cents or something like that, maybe even cheaper on the Wii U years ago, and I love that game, and it was $6. Like on the Switch, I was like, it's a game I really like. I'm fine paying $6 for that, but there's a lot of games on there that I'm like, I don't really know what the hell those games are. They could be really good games, but they're $10, $15, $20, $25. And there's so much crap on there nowadays. You lose confidence in and basically the product that they're pushing to you. When there's only one or two, it's like these guys. But in the early days, these are probably some pretty good, well-made. They might not be games I like a lot. They might not be game of the year quality stuff, but they're probably some pretty decent, well-made games that are being released for this console. And nowadays, it's just whatever you can put on there, put it on there. I mean, the Wii U had the same problem where there was, I don't know how many games were being released in that thing, and it just everything would get buried. I mean, maybe the eShop for the Wii U didn't have the best indie title stuff.
No,
on
they
it. And they had some towards the end. They had some of the indies and stuff. They did some good stuff, but
Runbow comes to mind, but still,
yeah, there was Shovel Knight, because a few here and there, but yeah, for the most part, it was just garbage. It was shitty. It was the same problem as now, shitty mobile ports. And I was hoping really with Switch being having it was a fresh start. Like this is a brand new eShop. I mean, you guys can do whatever you want. You can just release quality stuff, like quality over quantity. And now it's They're not doing it, which I'm not going to knock Nintendo so much for because everybody else does it. It's not fair to knock Nintendo when not knock everybody else. It's
That's
shitty
very true.
and it sucks. Like the PS4 is a huge problem. The one thing I'll give the PS4 and Xbox One though is their stores are a little more lively, I guess. There's graphics, there's ads for these new games. There's like promoting this new stuff coming out. And the eShop, I know it's only been out for 6 months, whatever. But you just go there and it's like new, most recent releases coming soon, games on sale, and it's just a white background with the cover of the games on it. There's nothing really there to push you towards stuff. There's the news area, but there's not too much there for it. But like you go on the PS4 and the Xbox One, you kind of have a decent idea of what's hot and what's new, what the popular stuff is. You go on there, it says new games, and it'll show you the key stuff that the big stuff's being released, and stuff like people like you and me that listen to podcasts that go on GameSpot or IGN or you talk to people on Twitter. Just we're more in touch with what's going on in gaming. We like we'll find those diamonds in the rough. Those games, like the games that are pretty good or really good, small games like that, they'll rise to the top. The cream will rise to the top. The cream of the crop, to quote Macho Man Randy Savage. You dig it? We'll find that stuff, like games like Floor Kids. That's a game that people have been talking about a lot on the Switch. That's got some popular, a little bit of fanfare behind it. Those games will be talked about. Golf Story, that game was, a lot of people were talking about that game for a few weeks there. It's the small little indie game on the Switch. That's we'll hear about that stuff, as long as we are pretty well, in. I mean, I spend a lot of time reading and listening about, watching YouTube videos on games, so I'm probably more in touch with gaming than 90% of the population out there. 90%, probably, maybe, I don't know. And there's some games that come out with some fanfare that I probably missed too, even. But for someone like, little Jimmy gets a Switch on Christmas Day, and he goes on there and he looks, and he just sees all these games, 324 games, and there's 18 more next week. How are you supposed to know what to get? Like, and the games are expensive, maybe you only get one or two here or there. You buy one or two, you, like I said, you lose confidence in it. It's like you don't trust that anymore. It's like, so there might there might be some great games that we are missing. I don't know, but yeah, it just sucks. You don't know, you don't trust it. It's just trying to look, and it's like, okay, there's like how many like hack and slash games, side scroll, how many Castlevania knockoff games do we have? How many Zelda knockoff games are we going to release? How many roguelikes are we going to see? Shooting games. It's like after a while you start looking at these games, they all, like, a lot of them looks just like the same 5 or 6 variations of games you've seen before. It's like, oh, it's just another shitty, like, lame ass puzzle game. There's a fucking beer pong game on there, It's like, or ping pong game, whatever. I don't know, same thing. On there, it's just like, this is dumb. It's on sale for $3. I'm like, that game should be $3 for regular price. It's a dumb iOS game. It's just a problem across the board. It's like Steam has, I think, in 2016 had like 4,500 games released in the year of 2016, and at that point in time, and when 2016 ended, there's like over 7,000 games on Steam. So that means more than half of the games that are available on there released in 1 year. That's like 4 games a day releasing. Nobody can keep track of that. I mean, like, game like PUBG. I mean, a little more fanfare behind with PlayerUnknown, but I mean that's the highest selling game of the year, probably, if not probably one of the 3 or 4 highest selling games of the year. So, in our case of cream rising to the top there, but I mean, it's just, there's so much shit out there, and it's like I've definitely, it's like I've talked about, like I just said, like I probably know more than majority of people out there. I can usually, like, if someone asks me about, hey, this game, I might not, I can't say what, I don't play all these games obviously, but yeah, this is what I'm hearing. That someone can ask me, I'm like, that's why I heard about it, So I might be able to have something to say about these games as far as like, yeah, the people are leaning left, good or not good or whatever on some of these more popular ones. But I mean, I've bought games that look really cool, and they're just like shit games. I don't know how many times that's happened to me in the last few years, especially. I bought a game like, this is fucking trash, and so yeah, I'm not even immune to it, I guess. And there's a lot of people. So yeah, it sucks. It's been a problem. Even with the Wii, it was a huge problem. I think that was a huge reason that the Wii sank was there's so much shovelware on there. And it's the same problem now. It's just instead of being physical copies, now it's digital copies, which is probably worse being digital because you're gonna be a little cheaper and it's a lot more accessible for people than going to Target or Walmart or GameStop or whatever, and seeing it's like, hey, there's these 8 really awesome games here, but they're $50 or whatever on the Wii, but there's like 900 fucking Carnival games or Wii Sports knockoffs, and there's all these lame ass attachments for your fucking Wiimote. It looks like a tennis racket and a baseball bat. It's fucking dumb.
Well, a little fun fact, though, those are the type of things that you'll find in actually your neighborhood thrift stores now because people donate them because they're useless.
Yeah, and I mean, I worked at a game store when the Wii came out, and I'm like, oh, it was like one. I remember when there was just one little fucking 6-foot long shelf and it held every single Wii game on it, and then like within like a few months, it was like fucking. It could have been basically, it could have had half the store it would take up if you just wanted to fucking put all the Wii games on there.
Yep.
And it's been a problem for a long time, and it's just now it's easier than ever to make games. It's maybe harder than ever now to get unless you're part of a decent, a big time publisher, harder than ever to get your game noticed, which sucks for people that actually make good games and care about the quality, and it's not just an asset flip that someone got downloaded Unity, and then spent $100 and just fucking released a game in 3-4 hours, made a game in 3-4 hours, and just a millionth looking basic Unity zombie killing game that they sell for $2. There's a million of those. Yeah, it sucks. It's bullshit. I think the people that should be held the most accountable is not the people making the games. It's hard to blame them. It's like people are everybody does it. You find a deal. You find out, like I bought some GameStop fucked up and meant to put the regular Destiny 2 game on sale for $30, but instead on the website they accidentally put the Destiny 2 bundle with the expansion for $30 when the expansion itself was $35. It's supposed to be a $90 deal for this thing, and they accidentally put it for $30. I pounced on that shit immediately and bought the expansion pass, and I have another copy of the game. It's like we're all gonna if we all find a way to either save some cash or make some quick cash. I mean, barring doing something crazy illegal, we're gonna do it. It's something we all as humans do, shitty or not. But the problem is that these game companies or these distribution sites, I guess, PlayStation, Xbox. Xbox isn't nearly as bad actually, but like PlayStation, Nintendo, and Steam by far the worst. Just allow it to happen. There's no quality control. They just see the dollar signs. They get a 40% cut of whatever you sell on their storefront. Fuck, fine. Like, all right, that's cool. We'll put them on there. PlayStation's bad because people put easy platinums. And then I talk about like the Mayo game. It was a 99-cent game, and the only reason I bought it was because it was an easy platinum. There's like 50 trophies in that game and a platinum, and I literally all the game was tapping the X button 10,000 times. That was the game, So I've done it. We've all bought in games or done stupid things like that before in the past. Like like I said, we're not immune to it. I'm not immune to it. I bought it in the games. I got really excited about a game that should have been obviously trash, and I'm like, ooh, this looks like it tickles one of my fancies, it checks one of the things, like one of the million things I like on a box. I'll buy it, and I bought it. It's dumb. Yeah, I don't know. Short answer, yes. Yeah, there are too many games coming out nowadays. There aren't too many game. There's not too many games coming out. There's just too many shitty games and shitty knockoff clone games. Like I talked about a game like Phantom Trigger earlier in the summer. It's essentially almost exactly a Hyper Light Drifter knockoff, but it's a really well made one of those games. So it's like, that's okay. That's fine. Like, you can knock off the game, and if it's a really good game. Like, I like that game quite a bit. But I mean, you're gonna look at it a little differently because it's a knockoff. There's a game called Blossom Tales that just came out on the Switch. It looks kind of cool. I kind of want to play it. It's basically just a Link to the Past knockoff, but it seems like people are liking it. I looked up a little bit about it. It looks like it could be kind of a cool game. That's fine being that. Just don't fucking be some Unity engine. This game took me 6 hours to make. Bullshit, Just put some care in your fucking games. Wow, that turned into something there. That was Gable's questions, by the way. That was a good little rant there. Holy shit. Yes. Anyways, quit being assholes, people. And fucking Steam, PlayStation, Nintendo, get some goddamn standards. You're just as much to blame as the people making the games are. But do you want to add anything else on after my 6-hour rant?
No,
Okay.
I'm good. I'm pretty much said what I was going to say.
Cool. Yeah. Fucking assholes. Sorry, had to get that last shot in there. But moving on to what we've been playing. I'm just gonna go real quick because I already kind of touched on them a little bit.
Yeah.
I haven't really been playing anything. I haven't really delved into anything this week. Been busy with with work being shut down this week. You got to cram basically 2 weeks worth of work into 1 week, so it's been a long week. So I didn't really have a lot of time until really Friday to actually jump into anything. So like I talked about at the beginning of the show, I played Accounting Plus and Farpoint. Accounting Plus was revealed at Video Game Awards just a few weeks ago, and went up for pre-order. It was like 20% off if you pre-ordered it. It was like $10, I think. So it's like, I think it's only like 11 something or $12 now. But it's made with the Rick and Morty guys, the creators of that. And I'm not. I've watched like a season and a half of Rick and Morty, and I want to give it another chance because I don't know if I give it a fair shake or not the first time. But I wasn't a big fan of it, and but the trailer for this looked kind of like, oh, this looks like it could make like a fun little VR game. So I checked it out, played for about an hour. I think I finished the game. I don't understand what's fucking happening in this game. So basically, it starts off like you're in like this accounting office, and like you have like all right. Actually, let me rewind. It starts off with you like in this like just giant like endless white fucking field or something, and it's basically like telling you the controls of the game. And it's got like this British like narrator behind you, like telling or not behind you, but in your head talking to you, telling you how the controls work and what to do in the game, how to move. And it's like, press the X or O button to spin into a circle. And you tap it, you do a full 360 turn, and it's like, holy congratulations! Like, it's all like a monotone, like never changes his tone and voice, and it's like, that was really incredible. You should get like a trophy for that. Here's a trophy, and it gives you a trophy, and it was just like a really kind of like, that was the peak part of the game for me for this, like just them like telling you how to move around, do the controls, like all that. I'm like, oh, okay, this game, like this seems really funny. Like this narrator is really good, and you go on to the actual game, and you never hear from him again, and like you just like have somebody else talking to you on the phone, and like I don't know, I don't really understand what the hell's happening. Like like jumping through like 6 different, like you put on like a VR helmet like at this accounting table, and you like, it's almost like I guess almost like, I don't know, the Matrix. I don't know but like, oh no, Inception, where it's like you go into like a dream inside of a dream inside of a dream. You do this with like it's like with the VR headsets. So like you're in the accounting, like you put the VR headset on, and then you're like in this accounting office. Then you put the VR headset in there, and like wacky shit's happening in every single one. And then like you're in this fucking like little in the forest, and there's like this weird glob guy comes out, and he's mad at you because you took the seed out of the tree or something, and you put it into a plant, it grew, and he's mad at you. And he's like, "What the fuck are you doing? Stay away! Don't touch my shit!" And then you put like the VR helmet on, and you go into another place, and there's these weird like animal creatures, like talking animals and stuff. Like they're in a gang, and you got like you want to join the gang, so you got to show how much of a badass you are. So you download illegal porn, and then like what'd you do? I threw a brick through a window, and it's like, oh my god, you've gone too far, like you just trying to do a bunch of stupid stuff, and then like it goes another thing, and there's this weird fat guy he's the king, and then some weird like basically like every step it just gets crazier and crazier, and there's like 6 or 7 of them, and I guess I beat the game based off the trophies I got. I don't know, but there's like I don't know, it's really weird. But then like you go into this loop, you keep going through it over and over again, and you keep looping through these same ones over and over again, and like minor things change. So finally, like the 3rd time around, I'm like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing anymore. Like, am I doing something wrong here? Like, so I turned the game off. I want to go back into it, but I'm just like, I got super confused. Like minor things were happening. Oh no, the reason I stopped was so, like, he's like, you go back to the tree thing, and the guy's yelling at you. He was in the trailer. He's like, what the fuck are you doing? And he wants you like to get his bomb and don't let like the forest is on fire and he has a bomb, and he doesn't want you to like he wants you to grab the bomb, so it doesn't get caught, so it doesn't get the wick doesn't get lit from the fire. And I was trying to move to it, and like it's a teleport thing where you just point where you want to go and you click the button to teleport there, and it wouldn't let me teleport or anything. I could move my head around, and he kept talking to me, and he was like saying the same 2-3 things over and over to me again, and I couldn't move, I couldn't do anything. So I think the game just kind of glitched on me there and froze on me. So I just turned it off. I'm like, okay, I'll have to go check that out again, go back into that and see what I'm missing. So I jumped into the game Farpoint I talked about a little bit. I actually bought the gun for it. It has like the move gun, and it's got like 2 analog sticks on it. It's got all the buttons from the the DualShock controller, and I got to like I said, I played the cutscene. I started getting a little queasy, so it starts off with like you're outside of like Jupiter, and these people have been out there for months, and you go to pick them up basically and bring them home, and there's like a wormhole there, and they're coming to you, and then you all get sucked to a wormhole, and you crash land on this weird planet that you don't even know where the hell you are, and you're trying to find them. I haven't even beat the first level or anything, but trying to find them, and the way you move is it's like, I know other games have done this before. I think Resident Evil 7 did it, where like, so with the DualShock controller, like it's the gun control, the move gun controller thing. You actually can point and move it to shoot where you want to shoot. You can look down the crosshair and everything. But there's one of the analog sticks. Actually, like you turn in like 30-degree forms. And like you have like the other analog stick where you can move forward and backwards and left and right. But it's more like a strafing. Like when you move left or right, you don't spin. You just kind of move you just kind of move side to side. So you don't actually turn your body around. So you gotta use the other one to, like I said, you got like that's one that lets you turn in like 30-degree angles. And what's essentially a Twitch shooting game. Like I fought the creatures, and I don't know. Like I'm not good at video games. Like you guys should know that by now. But I kept dying like constantly, like in like a few like fights in, like I got at one point I was getting surrounded by like these 5 or 6 creatures that spit shit from across the damn field at you, and they kept killing me. It takes a decent amount of shots to kill them, but once it got to the point where like they weren't just in front of me, they're now to the sides of me and like behind me. It just became overwhelming, and on top of like, you know, I felt like I'm getting sick. I turn off and I've played it since. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that. I don't know. I don't know if I'm a big fan of that. Like, I got Doom VFR I still want to play. I hope. I'm gonna give it another chance, and hopefully, if I don't get sick, I'll keep playing it. I'll keep trying at it. I might just lower the difficulty. I put it on normal. Maybe I'll just put it on easy, and maybe that'll help. But the concept, like, it's kind of cool. Like, I'm not a big fan of the turning, and it's just a lot of shit at once thrown at you. So I don't know. It looks graphically, it looks pretty impressive. It's not like, I mean, this isn't like a fucking like Last of Us, like, looking game, like not nearly as great as that. But for a VR game, like a lot of the VR games I played are like, not graphical powerhouses or anything like that. But this one looks pretty impressive, and yeah, I don't know. I want to keep trying. I'm gonna give it another chance, see what it looks like, see how I feel with it. If I don't get sick, I end up liking it. I'll check it out. But yeah, that's pretty much what I've been playing. What about you, Gables?
I've been playing a couple of things. I bought this game called Voez that was a mobile game, but was released on the Nintendo Switch towards its launch. It is a $25 game. It's a music-based game. It's entirely playable on the touchscreen, and it has all of the DLC stuff that was available on the mobile edition, only all of it is unlocked on the Switch. So that's why it costs around like $25. But anyway, the gameplay in and of itself is kind of interesting because you basically go forth, you just touch a set amount of like dots or something like that in rhythm to like the falling notes that fall like from up to down and stuff on your screen. You're supposed to match it to like some of the rhythm, tones, and all this other stuff. The gameplay experience itself is actually quite interesting, is because it's sort of a mixture between doing stuff, let's say like Guitar Hero or Elite Beat Agents or something like that, where you are matching notes to the tones of the songs that are playing. But I'll tell you what, considering like the specific songs, there are so much to choose from in terms of playing for tracks. And every bit of time that you go forth and you play and complete a specific track, it unlocks like a specific like story, like diary piece or something like that. There's like about, I want to say about 75 or so, give or take. But yeah, I basically unlocked about around, I want to say about 6 or 7 of those little diary pages and stuff, but all of them have specific conditions in order to unlock. Like, say you have to beat a track on hard mode without, like, getting underneath the B grade, or you have to beat it on a special setting without having to, like, get underneath, like, B. So basically what it kind of goes through is once you complete a song, it gives you a grade or a rating upon it. S is the absolute best, meaning you didn't miss anything, you got most of the stuff, like, done, without any type of mistakes. So it's rated from, like, obviously F to S. F being the lowest, S being the absolute best of it all. I have personally gone through, I kid you not, I feel like I've gone through about 30 or 40 different tracks. You can go forth and arrange them by specific versions of when they came out on like mobile store, or you can go through A to Z, which that's one of the things I do anyway. Go through and just play specific songs, and they are catchy. Some of them are in different languages, some of them are in different types of stuff. But I'll tell you what, man, if you want to play something that's different than your standard, like, say, platformers or racers or first-person shooters or whatever the heck that you're playing on the Switch, download the game Voez. That game is an interesting concept, and I guarantee you're going to at least have some bit of fun with it, especially with all the content that's involved in it. Now, the next game I've also played on Switch. It is The Mummy Demastered.
Oh.
Now,
okay.
The game is based on the Hollywood movie, but it's loosely based on it.
Is Brendan Fraser in this game?
No. No, it's not that movie. It's basically the remake of that monster movie for The Mummy that was released, I think, earlier on this year, which that one got critically panned throughout all the type of critical reviewers out there. However, the game is developed by Way Forward, the same ones that are responsible for making great games like, say, Shantae and like the remaster for DuckTales back a couple of years ago. But my first initial thoughts of The Mummy Demastered is it's kind of cool. It really reminds you of like the whole Metroidvania sort of style. I can definitely see the aspects of Castlevania in it, because a lot of the mummies and like you're battling mummies, you're battling zombies, you're battling like just demon creatures too, on top of basic things like, say, insects like spiders or like different types of like creatures that are crawling and stuff. One of the first bosses you face in the game actually is a gigantic spider, which that actually was a interesting boss battle. Is you basically had to navigate between 3 platforms and stuff in order to shoot a creature, shoot the damn creature and stuff like that. It has the abilities where you can collect certain upgrades, so you start the game like with a standard pistol or something like that. Then you can upgrade to grenades, upgrade to like automatic weapons and stuff. It's interesting in a sense to where it's modeled to what you would get as a actual soldier or actual SWAT team member that has trained for like a specific type of task. It's not like how you would in some of those other games where you would get like certain blasters or certain like bombs or certain like classical weapons or something like in other Metroidvania games. But it's just kind of weird seeing like current like modern day weapons that you would possibly would see, like say the army or some police force would use. But the gameplay feels smooth. The look of it actually looks freaking fantastic. The pixel art of it, I'm actually surprised how detailed some of it is. But I'll tell you what's also good about this music, the music itself. It's just the music itself is really haunting in certain spots, and it's also inharmonious in a sense to where you feel the dread of going to specific sections. You don't know what's going to be around any type of corners. The enemies are tough. They can be tough. You have to find various upgrades for your character through their health or through like weapon like limits. You'll upgrade like ammo limits to like specific weapons you have, including like your sub weapons like say grenades and that this and that. I only played like maybe an hour and a half of it back around, what was it, like Friday or something like that. So that was pretty fun. But the meat and potatoes of what I played this week is Destiny 2.
Ooh.
I did finish the campaign of Destiny 2 along with a couple other friends that I have. We basically went through the entirety of the campaign, and we have spent the better part of this week going through a bunch of different things like strikes. We've gone through and collected a whole bunch of stuff, like say through patrols, certain missions and stuff. We're basically trying out little portions of the game itself because they have this mission structure to where you can go through and like complete certain tasks in order to earn powerful gears. I will say this, Destiny 2, the progression of your character feels better. The amount of rewards you get upon completing specific tasks, it feels great. Why? Because you're constantly being rewarded for doing and playing stuff inside the game. Now, never mind the fact that there's a bunch of shit, like some of the best stuff, like say armor or weapon, is locked behind fucking paywalls. I already am aware of that. Yeah, it's a fucking problem. I absolutely hate that. However, at the same point, the Destiny 2, the game as a whole in of itself, or what it accomplishes, even if you don't put in other types of money, is actually worth the amount you invest inside of it. Especially for like a $30 or $40 price tag, which is selling right now on sale. But went through the campaign relatively fast. We are in a process of potentially going through like the main Leviathan raid that's going to be going on right now. The character that I had completed the campaign with was a hunter, and I went through every little subclass things. I tried doing as like say the arc subclass for the hunter. It wasn't really my style. I tried gunslinger a little bit. Gunslinger has a cool thing where you have the golden gun and you can like shoot, do like one hit KOs and stuff like that. But I really like the Night Stalker. The Night Stalker for the hunter class, that is probably one of my favorite ones. Because when essentially, if you go through and you upgrade all the various upgrades for the Night Stalker subclass, you get to go through and you get to like shoot off these like bows and arrows and stuff like that, raining these void weapon upon like enemies and stuff. So you're taking out Fallen, you're taking out Vex, you're taking all those other enemies and stuff like that. And you have like maybe 4 or 5 shots if you upgraded everything else correctly. The thing I could say most about my enjoyment with Destiny is just finding random loot with my friends and like using different types of medallions, using different types of like consumable items in order to increase chances on finding loot. Because here's the thing, before in Destiny 1 you were maybe finding like a couple of good items every so often, maybe legendary things here and there if you were lucky to find such things, especially after doing strikes. I mean, hell, you and let's see, Tyler and I pretty much like went through a bunch of strikes with like one of our friends Jake and stuff like that, where we would go through missions, we would get like maybe some like rare stuff or maybe some uncommon stuff, but we would not get hardly any type of legendary stuff, give or take exotic shit.
Yeah.
But in this game, I can confirm that I have gotten exotics randomly through like going through public events. I have gotten legendary engrams, just like, oh god, it feels like more routine now. It feels like when I go through and play specific things, like say through patrol missions or go like strikes or even heroic strikes or other types of things with friends, I am earning things to an extent to where I can level up my character's power. The thing about the game's leveling up structure right now is you're capped at level 20 unless you buy the Temple of Osiris DLC, which raises it up to about 25. Now, you can still upgrade your power. At this moment in time, I am up to about 298 in terms of power.
Holy shit, I'm at 219.
The reason why I got it up to that extent is I have been doing, like I said, this past week, my coworkers and I have been doing like random strikes. We finally done our first heroic strike, which is like a 20-minute time limit, and we were able to defeat the end boss of that heroic strike in like almost like a minute and a half left. Nice. So we managed to go through all this stuff. I got these particular weapons that I've been using and upgrading. One of them's the Sunshot. Now, this weapon is an exotic. It's an exotic hand cannon. And what does it do? It has explosive rounds. So every time that I use it, I could potentially like have an extra grenade explosion when I hit an enemy with my bullets and stuff. And there's another gun that I have. It's called the Better Devils. It's a legendary, but it's also a hand cannon to where I can shoot enemies. And basically, I can drop orbs as I'm doing that, which means I could pick them up, my teammates could pick them up, and they could build their specials faster. It's just discovering little stuff like that, or even going through like the campaign and stuff like that, and finding how funny like guys like say like Cade 6 and the Failsafe are. Which, oh my gosh, the dialogue between Cade 6 and like the Failsafe through in some parts of the campaign missions, they're just hilarious. Oh boy. But overall and stuff, I have enjoyed my time so far playing Destiny 2. I'm still wanting to play it. I mainly just want to see if I can get through the Leviathan raid and stuff. You know, or even like a prestige like raid or whatever the heck that is. And I potentially could get my character up to the actual cap of power. The cap of power currently is like 360 at the moment, I think. So, yeah, you know what? This is probably the most surprising thing I'm going to say, but Destiny 2 has actually been a game that I have enjoyed a lot, and if you would have told me at the beginning of the year that that would be my game that I would actually enjoy playing a lot on the PS4, I would probably have laughed.
Yeah. Yeah, then, you know, it's a game I wasn't even interested in playing until everybody... the things I heard about it. It's so crazy. They fucking did it. They made a good Destiny game.
Now they just need to fix their mistakes that they've done with the paywalls and other stuff as well.
And the expansions.
Yeah, and the expansions as well.
That's pretty good.
Other than that, I'm done. I'm done.
I forgot to mention real quick. Another game, I played episode 2 of Life is Strange Before the Storm.
Oh, yeah.
It's the prequel to Life is Strange. That game's amazing. I got one more episode to go. It just came out this week. I just wanted to wait until they're all out so I can finish the season up. So they're out now. yeah, that game is way better than I ever thought and hoped it could be. So, and I am extremely sad there's only 3 episodes, and we're never going to get to see these characters again.
Aw.
I'll talk about it more next week, and the week after that probably. Speaking of, and the reason why I'll be talking about it more often is because next week we have a tentative day scheduled with Justin, about recording our Game of the Year shows. And also, we're going to do... So next week, so kind of explain the timeline of what's going on, is... I'm not going to say how many episodes it's going to be, because I always plan for 2, and then last year was like 4 parts. We get a little long-winded sometimes, but it's Game of the Year, it's whatever. Fucking Giant Bombs get released in 27 hours of Game of the Year shit this week. So
oh, God.
we can do a few hours if we want. So next week we're gonna do like a review game 2017 year review. We started really just doing it last year, but it was really fun to do, and I thought kind of fun to kind of expand upon things, not just talk about our 10 favorite games, but talk about most disappointing game, worst game, most surprise, things you want to see for next year. Just overall to talk about more than just these 10 games we loved, and give some games that maybe that aren't going to be on those lists a little more time to shine, I guess. And it was a fun show to do. We're going to do that, and then we're also on the same night we're going to record all of our do our top 10 show. It's personally my favorite shows to do every year. Game of the Year has always been my favorite shows, but I think the year review stuff is really fun to do too. Just fun to hear you guys' list and the reasons why, and it's fun to have those little battles in your head. Battles I've been avoid having for months, and now we're forced to have them, and now I got to make decisions about games. And like I said a few weeks ago, this year not so much fun. There's too many. We had a discussion about there's too many games coming out nowadays. There's too many really good games coming out nowadays, and it sucks. Like there's like 6 or 7 like possible like all-time great games that came out this year, and now I gotta fucking decide which one's my game of the year. When they would have came out any other year, some of these games would have been my game of the year. But yeah, that's all gonna happen next week. You'll hear about them over the next few weeks, but for us, it's all gonna happen next week. So just want to give everybody a heads up about that. So expect the next few weeks just being Game of the Year stuff, and talking about some of the best and worst of 2017. There's a lot of bads in 2017, but gaming wise, it was excellent. But yeah, that's kind of what's going to be happening with us. This is our last regular show of the year. So I just wanted to kind of say to everybody real quick, thank you for sticking with us here. Whether you've been with us from fucking the original Drunk Nashers podcast all the way back in May of 2013, and or you joined us a few weeks ago or sometime throughout this year. Just want to say thank you you guys. I forgot what the count was, but I actually counted how many episodes we released this year, and we released just new episodes, not including the flashback stuff, 60 episodes this year.
That's awesome.
Yeah, there's not even fucking 60 episodes or 60 weeks in a year, and we released that many shows. And we've both of you and I have only taken off 1 week this year.
Yep.
And that was just during E3, and that week we released that's one of the reasons why we released so many episodes this year. We released 8 episodes in a fucking week span, and we still haven't missed a week at all. We're 200. We've almost I think we're around 200 straight weeks of releasing a podcast.
Wow.
Which is really cool. It's something I'm still very proud of doing. We've only ever missed the 1 week. And thank you guys. If you combine everything together, we've released about 100 podcasts this year if you include the flashback stuff. And there's still, I think, 2 more of those coming out this week. This show's coming out. Should be coming out on Monday, Christmas Day. You'll know when you hear it. But yeah, there's still episode 43 and 44 of the Drunk Nerds flashback will be coming out. Those are going to be ending soon, probably in the next few months. I think there's only 60 of them to release. But yeah, once again, start rambling there. But yeah, once again, I want to thank you guys. This year has been for I think the third straight year, the most downloaded year for us that we've ever had. Last month was one of our most downloaded months ever.
Wow.
Yeah. So thank you guys. Thank you for listening to us. We love doing this show. I think Gables and I would still sit there and bullshit about games all the time, whether we're recording this or not.
Yep.
But it's great to know we have people listening to us. Talk to us about it. Tell us what you think about it. And if you guys don't know where to do that at, I have the answers for you right here. If you want to, we have a Facebook page, Drunk Nerds Podcast. Just like us, and there's also a group. Fucking join us. We've had a few new people join actually in the last month or so.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so check us out in those places. On Facebook, check us out there. On Twitter, Drunk Nerds Pod, @DrunkNerdsPod. Follow us on there. I run that one. I'll tweet on there every now and again. Send us a message on there. Hit us up. Tell us what you think. Retweet it. Tell people. It's great. More people can hear from us or hear of us. On YouTube, it is Drunk Nerds Podcast. Or no, it's just Drunk Nerds. I'm sorry. Subscribe to us on there, and the podcast goes up there. Give it a big thumbs up, please, and share it. Just share everything that we do, except those nudes of me on the internet. Don't share those. Just leave them where they are. That's where they should be. Nobody should go there. Just leave them where they be. Leave them where they lie. But no. Also on Twitch, we are Drunk Nerds Podcast on there. Follow us on there. Send us a friend request. Friends are good. We like friends. And then also, obviously, on iTunes, we are there, Drunk Nerds Podcast. Subscribe, please. Leave us a 5-star review. Leave some nice little words. It's really great. I like reading good things about me. It's always fun when those happen. But yeah, check us out all there. Thanks again, guys, for being with us this year. I hope you guys all have or had a wonderful Christmas. Fucking Hanukkah, whatever the hell you celebrate or you don't celebrate, I don't give a shit. Hope you guys enjoyed the long weekend. I was Tyler.
And I have been Colonel Gables, so until next time, everyone, have yourself a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and you know what, just go ahead and relax yourself and pop yourself a cap off and enjoy some bit of the Drunk Nerds Podcast.
Oh yeah. See you in 2018, bitches.
See ya.
Excuse me. A few too many beers there. Anyways, we're on iTunes now, so go on there, check us out, and if you like us, leave us a review, and we'll even shout you out. And Jack will send you his credit card number.